Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Murong Fu. I have already cultivated immortality, what country will I return to? Azhu Abi. Young master, you are mighty. Wang Yuyan. My cousin's martial arts have surpassed the realm of martial arts. Zhu Yuyan. Those who practice martial arts, how can they fight those who cultivate immortals? Fu Junchuo. Shameless Murong Fu, take advantage of someone's danger, take advantage of kindness and seek revenge. Li Qing Luo. No, no. You can't let Yuyan know her actual surname Duan. Murong Fu. My system is not serious anymore. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. What country to restore, lie flat. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Outside the city of Gusu. Yanziwu. A gentle breeze. Lotus leaves and fields, fish playing among the lotus leaves. A light boat without oars drifted between the lotus leaves, whether it was the ripples of the clear water or the undulating vibrations of the boat, with ripples slowly rippling away. Accompanied by a sudden singing, the egret startled. Afterwards, an elegant and beautiful woman in blue clothes emerged with a blush like wine red. The delicate hands were about to pick up the bamboo pole, but were stopped by Murong Fu's voice. Buyer, don't worry. But young master. The sky seems a bit late. Abi's face is a bit awkward. It's too late. Murong Fu lay in the bamboo cabin like this, quietly reminiscing about the beauty just now. He looked at Abi's jade-like skin, reflecting green waves as if it were transparent, and felt a bit dazzling. You can sing a song. Murong Fu likes Abi's singing voice. He likes to lie among the tender flowers and leaves, smelling the scent of grass and the fragrance of flowers, and hearing the beautiful singing of Abi in his ears. Such days always make his heart and soul drunk. What does the young master want to hear? Abi never refuses Murong Fu. Even if Murong Fu's demands are too extreme. Let's just talk about the Qingping music from last time. It sounds really nice. Without hesitation, Murong Fu said his favorite poem. Not long. A sweet and melodious voice emerged. The song is gentle and innocent, echoing the gentle breeze and flowing water, joyful and moving. Inside and outside, there is an indescribable sense of comfort. Murong Fu closed his eyes, listening, enjoying, and waiting. Congratulations to the host and maid Abi for completing a wonderful lineage. Qi Luck +10, Shou Yuan +3. Listen to the gentle Wu Nong's soft language. Looking at Abi with a gentle face and a delicate body. Murong Fu sighed in his heart that this was truly the most wonderful day. 8 points of appearance, combined with 12 points of elegance, is no less than a stunning beauty. With such a perfect maid, I don't know why Murong Fu always thinks about restoring the country. Murong Fu couldn't figure it out. Murong Fu worked tirelessly throughout his life, abandoning his loyal 4 great generals for the so-called imperial ambition and an unrealistic dream, sacrificing his beloved woman, and even admitting to being his father. He never had his own life in his lifetime, and he didn't even experience true happiness. In the end, he ended up with a tragic fate of betrayal, madness, and the loss of children and grandchildren. Perhaps it was the tragedy of the original owner that led to the emergence of the inheritance system. TSK. This system's inheritance is definitely not something serious. I think the 3 wives and 4 concubines system and the many sons and many blessings system are the more suitable system names. Yes. The Murong Fu in front of me is not the real Murong Fu. But rather social animals who have traveled through the night due to continuous overtime. 2 generations of people. This life has finally become the 2nd generation of super martial arts, with such a harmonious system. Murong Fu's return to the fart country, to Mao's hegemony. He lay flat directly. Enjoy this wonderful life that no amount of money can exchange directly. Young Master. Young Master. Abi looked at Murong Fu, who was habitually distracted, and smiled politely. She called out softly. My young master is good at everything, but he often gets distracted. What's going on? Murong Fu couldn't recall forgetting something again. The young master told Sister Zhu that he wanted to catch a big carp and make her sweet and sour carp. But now it's getting late, and the young master still hasn't received any harvest. Abigio smiled and answered. Full of spring breeze, stirring people's hearts. It's just a carp. Simple. I saw Murong Fu concentrate and sweep away. Then he gently clapped his hands towards a dense lotus. Bang! The water column rises to the sky. In the water column that was 2 circles larger than the grinding wheel, there were actually 3 big carp with arms long hidden. Then Murong Fu bent his hand into claws. Biming divine skill. With such a simple suction, the 3 big carp were pulled into the light boat by invisible devouring force. When the big carp falls, it still bounces around alive. Appearing full of vitality. How big? Abi quickly picked up a bamboo basket and filled it with fish. She also knows a lot of martial arts. Grasped the 3 big carp casually. How's it going? Murong Fu asked, is this enough to make the payment? Abi, who had just caught the big carp, asked curiously, when did the young master cultivate the crane control technique to such an extent? The Langhuan Jade Cave in Mandala Villa only has the crane control skill, not Shaolin's dragon capturing skill. Rao is so. As a peerless skill on par with the dragon capturing technique, no one in the Murong family has learned it for many years. This is not about catching dragons and controlling cranes. But it's biming. Murong Fu smiled leisurely. Since we have traveled, since we plan to lie flat. Isn't it a waste to not cultivate immortality? Where does the cultivation technique come from in the world of comprehensive martial arts? Murong Fu pondered for a day and a night, and finally locked in one of the 3 most mysterious divine skills in the Heavenly Dragon 8 departments. Biming divine skill. Duan Yu only learned 2 of the 30.6 pictures in the Biming divine arts. That is to say, Duan Yu only practiced 1/18 of the complete set of Biming divine arts, and as a result, he created a legend. In this way, the complete set of Biming divine arts is so terrifying. Then, the 8 wildernesses and 6 harmonies soul self-respect skill has the effect of rejuvenation and rejuvenation. As the leader of the Xiaoyao sect, the Biming divine skill, which can only be practiced, is probably only strong and not weak. Therefore, Murong Fu speculated that if he practices the complete Biming divine arts to perfection, what he can swallow may no longer be the true qi and internal force, but the spiritual energy between heaven and earth. Even if practicing the Biming divine skill requires first consuming one's own internal power. Even if Murong Fu's guess is wrong. The complete Biming divine art is much stronger than the mental techniques of the Murong family and the unique skills of various sects in the Langhuan Jade Cave. So Murong Fu chose the northern underworld divine skill, only making a profit without losing. Moreover, he also has the dual assistance of a system and profits. Chapter 002. Grand Master of Martial Arts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Host. Murong Fu, Zhu Yuyan. 2686, plus 339 days, remaining gas transport value. 40, Identity. Wu Xiu, Realm. Grandmaster Peak, 2968/3000, Divine Powers. Biming, Dozhuan Xingyi, Lingbo Weibu, Secret Technique. Soul Moving Technique, Deshang, Swordsmanship. Murong Swordsmanship, Perfect, Demo Swordsmanship, Xiaocheng, Dot. Knife Technique. Burning Wood Knife Technique, Deshang, Dot. Fist Technique. Arhat Fist, Perfect, Dot. Palm techniques. Great diamond palm, de sheng, prajnaparamita palm, de sheng, cold ice palm, de sheng, dot. Fingering techniques. Joining finger, perfect, dragon claw hand, de sheng, dot. Since the Beiming divine arts have been continuously enhanced by the system's energy points, they have accumulated to perfection. Murong Fu discovered that as long as he spent an additional 300 points on his chi points, he could break through his limits. So, after completing the transformation of Beiming divine arts and becoming a divine power, he can also sense the wandering and sparse spiritual energy between heaven and earth. After devouring and refining them all, Murong Fu's attributes underwent earth-shattering changes. My identity has changed from an ordinary warrior to a martial artist among cultivators. So far, Murong Fangfang finally realized that the northern underworld divine skill was simply a modified cultivation technique. The days that followed were very simple. He devours and refines spiritual energy when he has time, accumulating spiritual power. But more leisurely and enjoyable like today. Thanks to the system, he has just reached the peak of his current master realm. Half step into the realm of the great master. Travel for 2 years. The system has been on for less than a year. I'm finally going to be promoted to the Grand Master of Martial Arts. Murong Fu smiled and said, Xiao Feng, you should slowly rub around in the realm of the master. I'll take a step ahead. North Xiao Feng and South Murong. A world-renowned martial arts master. Especially the peak of the Grand Master, Beiqiao Peak, is renowned throughout the world of comprehensive martial arts. Even in the imperial dynasties such as the Qin, Ming, Sui, and Shenwu, where there were as many experts as the crucian carp crossing the river, the reputation of Beiqiao Peak remained prominent. So, the martial arts master is the existence of a side that is oppressed horizontally. Not to mention a martial arts master who has reached a higher level. But after all, this is a world of martial arts. Even a great master needs to be low-key. Murong Fu couldn't help but think of Gainye, the world's top swordsman of the great Qin dynasty, and Tai, the Eastern emperor who existed like a god. I quickly remembered several martial arts masters who could break the void, such as the magician Pang Ban, the unparalleled swordsman Yan Fei, the celestial master Sun En, the great hero Chuan Ing, the evil emperor Xiang Yutian, the celestial demon Sang Chu, and the supreme master Ling Donglai. There are also Wu Wudi, Xiao Sanshao, Emperor Shitian, and so on in the Shenwu Qing dynasty. In addition, Wang Zhixian, Master, Li Chungang, and others. These are all super terrifying beings. Forget it. Let's break through the realm first. After Murong Fu reconciled his own situation. Drop all 40 points of chi luck. Murong Fu's limbs and bones immediately flooded into a scorching warm current, constantly washing his muscles and veins, warming up the spiritual power hidden in his flesh and orifice. At the same time, Murong Fu's aura kept rising. Like a thundercloud constantly accumulating strength. Such a change. Deng Baichuan, Gong Yeqian, Bao Butong, and the notorious troublemakers who were sleeping were also awakened one after another. Great Master. Who is breaking through the Great Master? Deng Baichuan, the highest cultivation, sensed the anomaly within reach. Immediately, he showed a look of ecstasy. Such a distance. Such conditions. Who else can there be besides my own young master? However, the movement of Murong Fu's breakthrough was a bit loud and unimaginable. Almost overturned their understanding of the great master of martial arts. Finally, the thunderclouds that were about to erupt suddenly collapsed. Fully contracting like a black hole. The surging and rebellious spiritual energy rushed into Murong Fu's body in an instant, transforming into spiritual power. Realm. Early stage of Grand Master, August 4000, it's done. Murong Fu saw his transformed attributes and slowly smiled. Because of his previous experience of breaking through to the later stage of the master through his chi luck, Murong Fu's emotions were relatively calm. But the 4 generals under his command couldn't calm down any longer. Young Master. Did the young master break through? Deng Baichuan and others flew over. The expectation of power hanging on their faces. The eyes flickered with scorching heat. They are all afraid that the sudden collapse just now is a message of failure. Breakthrough has been made. Murong Fu's tone was very calm. But he didn't know that these words made Deng Baichuan and the others feel relieved. You should know that this is a great master of martial arts. Looking at the entire Song dynasty, there were only a few great masters. But his own young master was promoted perfectly at the mere age of 26. Such talent can be called the number 1 since ancient times. Ha ha ha. Deng Baichuan laughed and said, even the old village head back then had less than half the talent of the young master. With the young master's martial arts talent, I will definitely challenge that legendary realm in the future. When Gong Yeqian thought of this, he felt an indescribable passion in his heart. The old master has knowledge under the spring, so he should be able to close his eyes. It's neither right nor wrong, it should be said that it's just a smile on the face. Amidst the turmoil and the differences, one after another agreed and couldn't help but feel happy. All right. Nowadays, there are many talented individuals in the martial arts world, with the appearance of dragons vying for the world. We still need to guard against arrogance and impatience. Murong Fu was quite calm. At least not as excited as Deng Baichuan and the others. The young master has the image of a dragon soaring. The young master's honor and disgrace are not surprising, and we are ashamed of ourselves. The more stable Murong Fu is, the more he can set off their fuss. The more they can make people admire them. Speaking of which, Murong Fu deliberately interrupted and asked, Baichuan, did the Bodhisattva snake I asked you to cultivate become successful? If it weren't for preparing the Bodhisattva snake in advance. Otherwise, he wouldn't have decisively used up his lifelong internal strength and converted to Beiming divine skill. Chapter 003. Bodhisattva Snake. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Murong Fu traveled for 2 years. In the first year, I couldn't figure out the clever use of the system, so I did 3 major things. The first thing was to steal Duan Yu's opportunity and take away the Beiming divine arts and Lingbo micro steps hidden in the land of Langhuan blessing. The second thing was to catch many Bodhisattva snakes near the sword tomb, and then let Deng Baichuan and others breed them at all costs. And the third one is to extract snow salt and snow sugar for the sake of mouth and mouth. Among them, snow sugar was made the first source of wealth for Yanziwu by Deng Baichuan and his team due to its higher market price. We have specially hired several snake kings from major dynasties and have successfully cultivated a new generation of Bodhisattva snakes. Although the Bodhisattva snake has an astonishing appetite and a preference for live animals, it needs 10 large pigs every day to satisfy its needs. But with Yanziwu's current financial resources, it's just a drop in the bucket. Deng Baichuan confidently replied, over time, the snake cave produces at least 100 Bodhisattva snakes annually. Whenever this was mentioned, Deng Baichuan's heart was filled with indescribable admiration. Where did your young master find such a magical snake? Can you even come up with the idea of building a snake den and letting it reproduce? This idea is simply imaginative. Unfortunately, it also laid the Millennium Foundation of Yanziwu. Because he relied on the first batch of Bodhisattva snakes brought back by Murong Fu to directly break through the martial arts level that had been difficult for many years. 100 pieces every year. Not bad, not bad. The days ahead will be much more leisurely. Murong Fu was overjoyed. The Bodhisattva snake is inherently cruel, not only capable of attacking others, but also likes to harm each other within the same clan. So the breeding plan of the Bodhisattva snake was not going smoothly. It took almost 2 years to toss and turn, throwing tens of thousands of taels of silver, and only then did it have such a slight appearance. There are countless wonders in the world of martial arts that can enhance one's martial arts skills. Why choose the fierce Bodhisattva snake? Because the Bodhisattva snake is the easiest to collect and most likely to form a benign development that Murong Fu could think of. He also wanted to get blood Bodhi, but the fire Qilin was too difficult to deal with. He also wanted to mix cold ice and strong fire wine, but Xiaka Island was too far away and there was no news. The relics of the evil emperor. There is only one in the world, and countless master-level experts are watching. What about the others? Murong Fu asked, do you have any other good news? Some young masters. Gong Yeqian responded with an invitation. This year's snow candy has been sold very successfully, and so far, more than 800,000 vehicles have been received. Sure. Murong Fu didn't take it seriously. For him now, money is at least a string of numbers. As long as he can relax and lie flat, there is no need to rush around for money. What about others? Murong Fu looked at the remaining two generals. Report to the young master. I don't have any good news here, but there is one bad news. Bao Butong began to take a different tone. Speak up. This is expected, and Murong Fu has become accustomed to it. The leader of the Funyo sect, Kobaisui, died suddenly. According to the investigation, he died under his own unique skill. The 100 Victory Whip. Bao Butong reported, now the whole Jianghu is said to be the master's masterpiece of using the way of the other, treating the body of the other. That old man won't die. Upon hearing this, Murong Fu knew it was a masterpiece by Murong Bo. Murong Fu is purely carrying the blame. Everyone felt that Murong Fu's reaction was different, and they all turned to curiosity. It's nothing. That 100 Victory Divine Whip is not a sophisticated martial arts skill either. Murong Fu confidently said, if I want to learn, I can achieve a small success in half a day and a great success in 3 days. I don't even need to use it. This is not about Murong Fu boasting about himself. Since the transformation of Baiming divine skill into a divine power, Murong Fu has fully penetrated all his muscles and acupoints, cultivating 100 unique skills that can be easily obtained. He is proficient in so many martial arts, at least half of which is the result of easy cultivation after cultivating immortals. For example, the wood-burning knife method. He practiced this purely for the convenience of making a fire. For example, cold ice true chi. It was purely because he spent 7 days practicing in order to eat chilled watermelons during the dog days. The young master has not gone out for over a year, and those people in the martial arts world spread rumors and slander at will. If I come across it, I will use my fists to reason with it. Everyone will be very angry. If it's done, that's all. After all, it's just a Fu Nyo faction. The problem is that even though they didn't do it, they were still splashed with dirty water, which is unbearable. Forget it. He is as strong as he is, the wind blows through the hills. He is horizontal as he is horizontal, and the bright moon shines on the river. Murong Fu waved his hand indifferently. All four will be stunned at the same time. Because Murong Fu's words have a martial arts artistic conception. Provided them with a lot of enlightenment. Young master. Azhu and Abi arrived late. Murong Fu was also polite and directly dismissed the 4 generals. Young master, are you okay? Abi asked with concern. Azhu seems to have some associations, but he doesn't say anything. Murong Fu gave a brief explanation. What? Young master has been promoted to Grand Master. Abi couldn't help but be happy. All emotions are revealed without any concealment. A great master of martial arts in his 30s. Azhu sighed and said, the young master's talent has completely surpassed that of Bei Qiaofeng. Do you think it's worth celebrating? Murong Fu, who was in a good mood, looked meaningfully at the 2 delicate and charming women in front of him. Abi is at her disposal. Young master is still thinking about these things at this moment. Compared to Abi's composure, Azhu's face turned red with embarrassment. Although she, like Abi, is Murong Fu's personal maid. But compared to Abi's purity, Azhu is slightly conservative. Isn't it good to think about these things? At least my mind is only filled with you. Murong Fu accidentally said unfashionable love words. Azhu Abi, who had no romantic experience, instantly softened half of her delicate body. Not long. The candle flickered. The wild beast whispered. Continuous and long-lasting. Chapter 004. When a person sits at home, the pot comes from heaven. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Azhu is a respected and pitiful tragic figure. She grew up in the Murong family when she was young, and was loved by the Murong family's mistress. She not only taught many unique skills, but also asked her to host the perfume pavilion. So she and Abi are nominally maids, but in reality they are like adopted daughters of the Murong family. His status is far above that of other servants in the Sanha village, comparable to that of the four great generals. And Azhu is still delicate and beautiful, a rare beauty in the world. Murong Fu, who has never had the habit of giving away women, how could he possibly hand over Azhu? Fight through the night. The rooster crows and rests. Congratulations to the host and maidservants Azhu and Abi for completing a wonderful inheritance. Chi luck plus 18, longevity plus 6, so the blessing of everyone is really fortunate. This is the first time that Murong Fu has simultaneously enjoyed the selfless dedication of Azhu and Abi. I didn't expect that both Chi luck and Shou Yuan could stack up. It was truly an unexpected joy. Unfortunately, Azhu has a thin face. Living together day and night, Murong Fu naturally understood Azhu's personality. If it weren't for last night being too special. Otherwise, it would be difficult for Murong Fu to succeed. Suddenly, Murong Fu's brow furrowed. But he didn't hesitate and got dressed first. Young master. But got up. Deng Baichuan respectfully inquired outside. Murong Fu rushed out with his body. My body is like a ghost. But Deng Baichuan was no longer surprised and respectfully reported, Young master, Sima Wei has died. Who is Sima Wei? Is his death related to me for half a penny? Murong Fu was very dissatisfied. But he also knew that Deng Baichuan would not disturb himself because of trivial matters. So restrain your irritability. Sima Wei, the leader of the Qingqing sect, died under the leadership of the Qingqing sect's ultimate skill. The 9 strikes of the Qing character. Deng Baichuan described in a cold tone. In his heart, the death of the leader of the Qingqing sect was insignificant. But the problem is that Sima Wei's death method was very directional, and Deng Baichuan had to take it seriously. The tree wants to be quiet but the wind doesn't stop. Murong Fu was very saddened. At this moment, he had already remembered the main storyline of the Tianlong Babu. It is estimated that in no time, Ma Deyuan, the deputy leader of the beggars sect, will also die under his famous skills. Then it was Shaolin Xuanbei's turn to master the great Weitua pestle. Not just that. Half a month ago, Yang Guang, the tyrant of the great Sui dynasty, was assassinated. The assassin's martial arts skills were exceptionally high, and he was offered a bounty of 10,000 gold. Moreover, the tyrant's culture of the Imperial Guard and his personal elite pursuit. Deng Baichuan reported another piece of bad news. I don't care if he's a tyrant. But what does it matter to us if he is assassinated? Murong Fu was puzzled. Yang Guang has many interpretations in later generations, and many arguments claim that he is not a tyrant. But Murong Fu didn't want to delve into this matter. He only knew that Yang Guang was the black sheep who buried the glory of the Sui dynasty. It is rumored that the assassin is proficient in 100 unique skills, and can break any move at will. There are very few people in the world who have such expertise in swordsmanship, and our Yanziwu is precisely one of them. At this point, Deng Baichuan's face was full of bitterness. Yanziwu finally gave birth to a great master of martial arts. They finally saw a glimmer of hope for national rejuvenation among the four of them. As a result, troubles followed one after another. Ms. This wave is really sitting at home, the pot comes from the sky. Even though Murong Fu has been a person of 2 generations, he cannot control his emotions. Cousin. Is my cousin here? Wang Yuyan is here. Upon hearing these words, Deng Baichuan gladly retreated to the side. Murong Fu was more direct and took the initiative to leave. Under the green willows. A white-clothed figure dodged between the willows and the mist, as if shrouded in mist, as if entering a fairyland. The beauty of Yuyan has made me drunk ever since. Although I have seen Murong Fu thousands of times, I am still unsatisfied. Mississippi. Young Master Murong is probably not here. Wang Mama advised, Madam only allowed Miss 2 hours of time. It has been more than half an hour now. Why don't we go back first and ask her to come and collect the secret script on her own? No way. I promised my cousin that I would never break my promise. If it were anything else, the well-behaved Wang Yuyan wouldn't resist. But when it comes to Murong Fu, the nature is completely different. But Mississippi. Others have to pay a great price when they come to the villa to ask for the secret script, but it's better for you to send it to the door instead. This seems a bit self-deprecating. Wang Mama still advised. What kind of master there is, what kind of servant there is. Li Qingluo from Mandala Villa was unhappy with Murong Fu, so Wang Mama naturally didn't have a good expression. How could this be? Wang Yuyan is a bit urgent. But she is not good at words, unable to find any excuses for a moment. Bang! Next moment. Accompanied by a dull explosion, Grandma Wang immediately knelt down. Blood oozed from the corners of the eyes, nostrils, and mouth. Self-deprecating. Murong Fu walked out with a gloomy expression on his face. He walked up to Wang Mama and asked with a condescending voice, "Do you mean that your small mandala villa is more noble than our joint villa?" You. Old age doesn't mean that. Grandma Wang is very witty. She was about to start cursing when she caught the murderous intent in Murong Fu's eyes and immediately changed her mind. Although I haven't seen him for a while, Murong Fu in front of me is very unfamiliar. It's definitely not the kind of young master who used to be friendly and outspoken just to see the secrets in the Langhuan Jade Cave. For Yuyan's sake, I won't kill you for now. But the death penalty can be avoided, and the death penalty cannot be escaped. Murong Fu coldly expelled him and said, "You go back on your own, tell Li Qingluo that Yuyan will come back later, and then calm down and recuperate for 6 months. Yes. Wang Mama forcefully suppressed the churning qi and blood in her body and hurriedly retreated. But her final gaze at Murong Fu was like a venomous snake. Chapter 005. Crane in the Clouds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wang Mama retreated with resentment. I estimate that I will do my best to arrange Murong Fu after returning. But Murong Fu didn't even pay attention to her, Li Qingluo, or even the entire Mandala Villa. The young master is majestic. Deng Baichuan almost applauded and cheered. When they went to Mandala Villa to borrow secret scripts before, they were not uncommon to be looked down upon. The wave of Murong Fu can be said to be very satisfying. So Uncle Deng is also here. Wang Yuyan saw Murong Fu with a burst of joy on her face, completely forgetting the displeasure brought by Wang Mama. Even when greeting Deng Baichuan, his eyes remained fixed on Murong Fu from beginning to end. Cousin. Yuyan searched the entire Langhuan Jade Cave, but couldn't find the Divine Illumination Sutra you mentioned last time. Wang Yuyan took out a secret book and said, but by chance, Yuyan found this bone-melting soft palm, which is very consistent with the criminal confession martial arts mentioned by her cousin in the past. Ah. In Murong Fu's astonishment, there was a strong sense of emotion. The so-called criminal confession refers to the use of torture to extract a confession. It can also be understood as a means specifically used to torture people. At first, when Murong Fu was just chatting, Deng Baichuan said that some people were like stones in a pit. Smelly and hard, so Murong Fu casually suggested that they learn some martial arts. I didn't expect the speaker to be unintentional, but the listener to be intentional. Wang Yuyan has always been remembered in her heart. I have a heart. Murong Fu gently straightened a strand of beautiful hair that had fallen from Wang Yuyan. Deng Baichuan was not surprised by such intimate gestures. But Wang Yuyan is a bit shy and her face is slightly red. Young master. Miss Biao. Fortunately, Azhu Abi's appearance lifted her siege. Azhu Abi. Wang Yuyan's tone was full of joy. She has very few friends. Azhu Abi is undoubtedly her only best friend. Three stunning colors with vastly different temperaments, standing alone like this, skyrocketed the beauty index of the scene. Murong Fu wanted to speak. Suddenly, the sound of breaking through the air struck. Murong Fu couldn't help but look towards Fian Lake in the distance. I saw a lotus leaf in white clothes walking on the lake's surface, passing by from the front. This figure is slim and tall, slightly taller than an ordinary man. Moreover, although her long sword was sheathed, she clenched it tightly with her bare hands, as if it could burst and injure people at any time. Deng Baichuan commented, "This female swordsman's breath is gloomy and heavy, clearly not in a healthy state. Her internal injuries are much more severe than you imagine. Even so, she still has extraordinary cultivation in lightness skills. I'm afraid she was a martial arts master at her peak." Murong Fu's comments go further. At this moment, he had vaguely guessed the identity of the female swordsman in front of him. However, she seemed to have noticed the trail of Murong Fu and others, but suddenly changed direction and stepped towards them. Is the calamity flowing eastward? Murong Fu instantly understood the intentions of the female swordsman. Damn it! Deng Baichuan was so angry that he clenched his fists tightly. Wang Yuyan didn't know why, but she heard a piercing and lewd laugh. Great beauty! Where else are you running this time? A blue flying shadow swept across the sky. This person is extremely thin, like a numb pole, with a narrow and long face. His unhealthy withered blue skin tone reveals an inexplicable distortion and narrowness both inside and outside. Ha! Today is truly my lucky day as a crane in the clouds. The crane in the clouds happily landed and looked at Wang Yuyan and the three of them with a stunning expression on his face. He sighed sincerely, I thought this female assassin was a rare beauty in the world, but I never expected there to be three stunning women here, one by one seductive. Not waiting for Murong Fu and Deng Baichuan to break out, Yun Zhanghe looked at them disdainfully and said, Hey, little white face, and you rough guy. Are you the family of the little beauties? Forget it, I don't care if you're either. Anyway, what I love the most is playing with men's wives and daughters in front of them. As Yun Zhanghe spoke, his gaze fell on Wang Yuyan's three daughters again. He even licked his lips and murmured, Humanity in Jiangnan is incredibly beautiful. Before, it was just a boast, but what I see today, I know what I say is true. Shoo. Yunzhong only felt a sudden pain in his thighs. Glancing at it, I don't know when there was an extra blood hole in my thigh. This is not just a blood hole, but rather a fingering technique where the tendons and veins are completely broken and one leg is wasted. Have you said enough? Murong Fu bid farewell coldly and said, If you have said enough, you can report to the King of Hell. Participating finger. You are Murong Fu. Yunzhong couldn't sense any strength in his right leg and immediately said in panic, You can't kill me. My boss sent me to Jiangnan to. Ah. With the second scream, the crotch of the crane in the clouds turned blood red. Murong Fu's second finger cut off his descendants who had caused trouble in all directions. Buyer. Take care of him. Murong Fu did not let Deng Baichuan take action, but chose Abi. Abi is the most obedient. Although she is still trembling to this day, as long as it is Murong Fu's order, even if it is to die, she will execute it without hesitation. You made me a eunuch. I'm going to kill you. I'll find the boss and leave you Yanzhou chickens and dogs behind. The crane in the clouds roared and flew towards Abi. He knew his only chance of survival was to restrain Abi, who looked weak and deceitful. So when he made a move, he was the most proud of his skills. The crane and snake 8 strikes. However, Abi seemed panicked, but her palms were as colorful as fallen petals, and her fingers were as lush as spring orchids. With a light touch, she could easily defeat all the tricks of the crane in the clouds. Chapter 006. 1,000 knives and 10,000 cuts, death is not a worth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Abi's simple yet elegant and unique body technique quickly deceived the crane in the clouds. Turn the palm into a finger and point it down. The Yunzhong, who was crippled and had a speed less than 30% of its peak, had no time to dodge and his vest was hit. Puff a large mouthful of fresh blood spurted out. Afterwards, Abi's delicate jade hand tapped into a certain hole on the body of the crane in the clouds. Don't rush. Murong Fu's voice rang out simultaneously. I saw his hand lightly pressing against the void. The body of the white-clad female swordsman who was about to escape, seeing the situation, was suppressed by an invisible force. Great Master. The white-clad female swordsman's face changed dramatically. She finally realized her foolishness. The calamity flows eastward, resulting in a hidden dragon. The next moment, the face of the female swordsman in white was even more ugly. Because Abi had already brought the crane in the clouds, like a dead fish, to Murong Fu's face. The ones I hate the most in my life are people like you. Do you know what I'm going to do with you? Murong Fu calmly looked at the crane in the clouds. Yun Zhanghe, with a pale face, asked miserably, Are you not enough to waste my grandson's roots? People like you, with countless cuts and cuts, will not hesitate to die. But killing you like this is actually giving you pleasure, and I feel unwilling. After speaking, Murong Fu bent his hand into claws and clasped his heart against the back of the crane in the clouds. Biming. The internal power of the crane in the clouds flows endlessly towards the major meridians and orifices of Murong Fu. Quickly, the cloud crane with insufficient internal skill cultivation was swallowed up. He is not the first. At that time, Murong Fu spent his entire life's internal strength with the assistance of the Bodhisattva snake, but it also allowed Deng Baichuan and others to catch more than 10 notorious villains as supplements. So Murong Fu was able to quickly cultivate his skills and return. Less than 300 proficiency points. What about the 4 great villains? Murong Fu, full of disgust, shook off the crane in the clouds. At this moment, the crane in the clouds not only lost all its strength, but its body, which was originally full of blood and had hidden muscles, became as thin as a stick, with a face like a withered wood. Hua Gong De Fei. Or the method of attracting stars. The female swordsman in white had a terrifying expression and regretted her choice. Whether it's Ding Chuanxiu, the star immortal who dominates the star sea, or the former head of the demon cult, our sect, they are all famous martial arts masters. Their fame cultivation naturally intimidates the martial arts world. Luo Cha woman, there's no need to make random guesses. This is the Biming divine skill. The source of the great methods of transforming energy and absorbing stars. Murong Fu looked at Fu Junchuo seriously, as if he could see through the white veil that was covering him. This great master and disciple from Goryeo is not only the culprit in assassinating the emperor of Sui, but also the future godmother of Xuanglong. She doesn't have a chance to date Xuanglong now. Fu Junchuo suddenly said, no wonder you became a great master so young. Fu Junchuo clearly misunderstood. But Murong Fu had no intention of explaining at all. He asked teasingly, Fu Junchuo, if you don't want me to drain your internal strength, then stay obediently in the Tsanha villa. Fu Junchuo asked coldly, aren't you afraid that my master will come and ask for someone? Master Yi Jian, Fu Kailan. Murong Fu confidently replied, I hope he can come. He feels like witnessing how magical the legendary Yi swordsmanship is. Can you defeat his beaming divine skill? Can we break through his ever-changing stars? Humph. Arrogant. Fu Junchuo had almost blind admiration for Fu Kailan. I naturally feel that Murong Fu lacks self-awareness. Are you arrogant? I'll know when Fu Kailan arrives. Murong Fu was too lazy to entangle too much with Fu Junchuo. He looked at Deng Baichuan and nodded. Deng Baichuan immediately mentioned the crane in the clouds. Since Murong Fu said he didn't want Yunzhong to die too happily, he would definitely not kill Yunzhong immediately. He will slowly craft the crane in the clouds. Ensure that the crane in the clouds will soon feel that death is liberation. Don't kill me. My boss will be found soon. Ha ha ha. You guys wait to be buried with me. Yuan Huaji will come over soon. You're doomed. You have no idea what terrifying characters are hidden in Yuan Huaji's team. The crane in the clouds is struggling to the death. He is greedy for the many beauties in the world. He doesn't want to die yet. But he didn't know that neither Murong Fu nor Deng Baichuan would let him die so painfully. The crane in the clouds was dragged away. Fu Junchuo was personally acupointed by Murong Fu and sent to the cold mountain courtyard. The scene returned to calmness. Seeing the thrilling side just now, Wang Yuyan not only showed no nervousness, but also a face full of admiration. My cousin has become a great master. A martial arts master in his 20s. Wang Yuyan was so excited that she clenched her small fist. At this moment, she can no longer find specific vocabulary to describe Murong Fu's amazing talent. Grandmaster and Grandmaster. Although it's just a word difference, it's a huge difference. Azhu agreed, even the four great villains are like dirt chickens, tiles, and dogs in front of the young master. Azhu is in charge of listening to Perfume Pavilion. It can be considered as the front line of Yanzhuo. I have seen many martial arts masters in recent years. But the more one sees, the more one is shocked by the gap in the realm of martial arts. For example, in the past, Murong Fu could never have easily controlled Fu Junchuo and Yun Zhonghe at the same time. Abi asked anxiously, if the remaining three villains, as well as Yuan Huaji, are found, how will we resist them? Yeah. Legend has it that Duan Yanqing is full of evil, and even the Duan family in Dali can't do anything about it. Yuan Huaji was a renowned martial arts master in the Great Sui dynasty, and he should not be underestimated either. As soon as the topic came up, all three women were worried. No, no, no. Chapter 007. Conspiracy against Fu Junchuo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A familiar catchphrase. Familiar speaking style. Who else can there be if it's not Baodi? Bao Buyang, who came with his daughter Bao Buyang, first greeted Murong Fu and then proudly defended himself, now that our Yanzi fortress is strong and strong, let alone the four major villains. Even if the villain's valley pours out, we will not be afraid. Beautiful. Azhu Abi affectionately pulled Bao Buyang to her side. Sister Zhu, Sister Abi. Miss Biao, good fortune. Bao, who is 1 year younger than Abi, is not pretty, timid, shy, and has a completely different personality from Bao. However, due to their close age and constant interaction, their relationship is very close. This is also one of the most gratifying things for Bao Bu. Brother Bao. Although there are many experts in our Yanzhuo, there are not many who can use them. Azhu gave a friendly reminder. Although under the deliberate promotion of Murong Fu, all 4 members of the Murong family will be much stronger than in the original plot. Even Azhu and Abi have become able to handle it independently. At least I won't be scared by any cats or dogs. Rao is so. Yanziwu has only 7 combat forces at best. It's not enough to see a top-level sect organization with hundreds or even thousands of combat power starting. No, no, no. Young master, let's not talk about it anymore. It's completely beyond the limit of quantity. Bao Butong proudly said, besides, big brother and second brother have deep cultivation skills that cannot be compared to ordinary masters. The 4 members under Murong Fu's command will be sworn brothers. Deng Baichuan, the head of Qingyun village, and Yi Qian, the head of Qixia village, both took advantage of the martial arts opportunities inside the Lanhuan Jade Cave and the great opportunity of the Bodhisattva snake to gradually break through the critical threshold. In the past year, they have been promoted to martial arts masters one after another. No matter how cunning Brother Bao may argue. Our Yanziwu has always had only 3 major combat forces. Azhu deliberately glanced at Baodo. Baobu understood everything, but there was no awkwardness. Even a bit of a carefree mood. Wait. My Hunyuan Gong has already entered the realm and will soon be able to break through to the Grandmaster realm. The storm roared and killed out. He is still holding a falcon in his hand. As for the Hunyuan Gong he cultivates, it naturally comes from Mandala Villa. And it was also Murong Fu who personally made the request. Due to his love for martial arts and combativeness, the special technique of Hunyuan Gong, which is from the outside to the inside, is most suitable for him. At the beginning, the storm was originally a bit resistant. But as he practiced, he became fascinated by it himself. Now it has evolved into honey confidence. Brother Feng. Did you catch the snake thief again? Everyone is already accustomed to catching falcons. Baodo and Fenhua Evil teamed up to guard the snake cave, often catching various raptors and beasts who love to eat snakes. Everyone is no longer surprised. Where's the young master? Fenhua Evil handed the falcon to Azhu and asked, I happen to encounter some martial arts doubts. I would like to ask the young master for advice. Young master. I guess we're currently interrogating that alien assassin. Bao Butong quickly answered. Assassin. The storm is evil and unknown. The next topic is a deviation. As a party involved, Murong Fu was indeed interrogating Fu Junchuo. But his way of interrogation is a bit special. Yanziwu. Cold Mountain Farewell Courtyard. This place is quiet and secluded. It would be difficult to find such a good place if one were not familiar with Yanziwu. Bang! Fu Junchuo stumbled and almost fell. However, Murong Fu showed no mercy and instead ordered arrogantly, take off your clothes. You. Fu Junchuo looked at Murong Fu in surprise. What kind of eyes are you looking at? Murong Fu was not at all polite. He opened his hand and gestured twice on Fu Junchuo's body. Fu Junchuo's body stiffened. Based on her internal skill cultivation, it is estimated that it will take more than half an hour to break through the acupoints. For half an hour. There is enough room for Murong Fu to do many things. Take off. Murong Fu really started to take off Fu Junchuo's white clothes. Fu Junchuo gritted his teeth and cursed, I didn't expect the famous Nan Murong to be such a petty person who takes advantage of others' danger. Unfortunately, Murong Fu did not intend to stop. He carefully and meticulously removed Fu Junchuo's clothes. Not long. Fu Junchuo only had the last thing to cover up on his body. So it's a chest tightening. I didn't expect it to be quite magnificent. Murong Fu was also slightly surprised by Fu Junchuo's figure. Fu Junchuo was mixed with shame and anger, but he couldn't resist. Then, Murong Fu pressed his palm on the smooth skin that felt regretful even without pulling out a cupping. Before Fu Junchuo could start cursing in a hurry, he felt a terrifying and eerie pure internal force wandering and devouring his body. Just 3 breaths. Murong Fu slowly put away his palm. And in the palm of his hand, there was a clump of frost-like object. Very pure ice, mysterious energy. Murong Fu suddenly said, "This kind of force is constantly eroding your meridians and orifices. No wonder you are being chased by bugs like Yunzhong. Many. Thank you very much." Fu Junchuo finally realized that Murong Fu was really treating his internal injuries. Don't be too happy too early. Murong Fu looked at his slender and fair body and said, "The icy power of Yuan Huaji has tormented you for a while. Unless there is a divine doctor-level intervention, you will have to rest for at least 3 months to recover. His spiritual power also has therapeutic effects. But that requires accumulated nourishment over time, not just a handful." The reason why he took the initiative to remove the ice mysterious energy for Fu Junchuo was purely to avoid her fading away. "You saved my life. And he also sucked away the ice Xian power for me. There must be something to do." Fu Junchuo asked, "Tell me, as long as it's within my ability, I will agree to you." He. "What I want you to do is really within your ability." Murong Fu suddenly burst into a wicked smile. This smile a bit evil, which made Fu Junchuo feel a strong sense of crisis, and he couldn't help but want to retreat to the side. But she sadly found herself still in a state of being acupunctured. Chapter 008. Powerful Diamond Palm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side. Snake Cave. A woman held a baby in her arms and floated down. At first glance, this woman appears quite attractive, and her posture of caring for the baby can easily make people feel good about her. But if you take a closer look, you can see 3 bloodstains on each of your right cheeks, which appear particularly ferocious in the darkness. The last breath of Lao Si is nearby. Yi Ernyang spoke into the darkness. If it were a stranger, I would think that Yi Ernyang was in a nightmare. When? A green-robed old man walked out of the darkness. No, he didn't come out. But 2 dark-colored gold sticks were used as crutches, gradually walking over. This person is officially the first of the 4 major villains in Yanqing. How can we see it? Duan Yanqing had long beards hanging down his chest, showing no signs of joy or anger. Old Si always has a strange aroma on his body. Before this departure, because the Rasha woman was too tricky, he specifically begged me for the most fragrant soul-chasing fragrance. Yi Ernyang said with a smile on her face, "The soul-chasing fragrance is the most poisonous thing. Even if it's touched at all, it can still retain its fragrance for half a month. Unfortunately, the fragrance of the soul-chasing fragrance stops here. It seems that Lao Si is stuck here. Search everywhere." Although Duan Yanqing is not afraid of Murong Fu, he also does not want to make unnecessary mistakes. After all, both sides are well known. What if we can't find it? Yi Ernyang is also a woman, so naturally she doesn't have a good impression of Yunzhong. Then there are only 3 evil people in this world. Duan Yanqing is not only the leader of the 4 great villains, but also selfish and vicious. Naturally, they will not cling to the Murong family for the sake of their so-called companions. Yi Ernyang is very satisfied with this answer. Just as he was about to speak, a cry of surprise came. Snake! Many snakes! A wild man came running with a strange cry. Shut up! Duan Yanqing felt displeased from the bottom of his heart. Boss, there are really many snakes. That estate is simply. Shut up. You've attracted everyone and you're so foolish that you don't know. Duan Yanqing looked at the 2 people following behind. As if to dispel the doubts of the 3 evil men, the originally dark night sky slowly unfolded, and the bright moonlight spread across the swallow's fortress, illuminating a rippling silver light. Deng Baichuan from Qingyun village has met Senior Duan. Deng Baichuan gave a joyful salute. Come uninvited. This is not a suitable way for guests. Relatively speaking, Gong Yeqian was a bit more aggressive. But still no malicious intent can be heard. There are rumors that there are 4 generals under Murong Fu's command, each of whom is top-notch in the martial arts world. It seems that the martial arts world has underestimated the Murong family's tolerance. Duan Yanqing looked at the 2 people in green clothes in front of him, his tone slightly surprised. His eyesight is so brilliant that he can't tell that both of them are masters in cultivation. Think of their 4 major villains. Except for Duan Yanqing, the other 3 are all top-notch in the martial arts world. But no matter how strong the martial arts world is, it cannot compare to a martial arts master. Deng Baichuan politely invited him and said, since Senior Duan knows the secret of our Yanzuo, I would like to invite Senior to stay and have tea and sit around. Gong Yeqian added, Yunzhong is an old guest of our Yanzuo. You are all brothers with him. We will leave you all here and treat you warmly. Not bad, not bad. Even the forced ones are so polite, and the Murong family is indeed well trained. Duan Yanqing is poised for action. You can give Deng Baichuan and Gong Yeqian a fatal blow at any time. No, no, no. Bao Bu and Feng Bo Evil both come from the night. Just listening to Bao Budong's defense, he said, what kind of guests, there will be different ways. As the young master said, when guests come, there will be good tea and wine, and when enemies come, there will be swords and iron bars. Different bags are different bags after all. Even the notorious Duan Yanqing dared to provoke. I didn't expect Nan Murong to be so interesting. It seems that I have to come to visit you again. Duan Yanqing did not get angry, but he did not lose his composure. Choosing a day is better than colliding with it. Please come to the village to have tea, our young master is almost here. Deng Baichuan will not miss such an opportunity. Gong Yeqian, Bao Bu, and Feng Bo Evil also had a very tacit understanding, and coincidentally formed an encirclement and suppression force. Humph. Duan Yanqing can't keep up anymore. Without any nonsense, directly point to Deng Baichuan's heart. One young finger. Deng Baichuan, who was already on guard, pointed and pointed out. Stone shatters the sky. This was originally the martial arts of fist and palm. But after breaking through the shackles of martial arts, Deng Baichuan integrated this unique skill, which can not only be deduced with fingering, but also be freely used with swordsmanship and swordsmanship. Duan Yanqing remained motionless, but Deng Baichuan took 3 steps back with a muffled groan. The difference in skills is fully reflected at this moment. Although Deng Baichuan refined his internal power, he was praised by Murong Fu and Xiao Feng for his exceptional martial arts skills and powerful internal power. And now he is even more advanced. Our strength is not as strong as before. But compared to a master like Duan Yanqing who possesses the unique skills of the Duan family and has 50 years of pure cultivation, there is really a considerable gap. Big brother. I'll help you. Gong Yeqian rushed away. Before anyone arrived, the palm wind was already howling. Duan Yanqing quickly counted several points, but it turned out that he was the one who lost. Powerful diamond palm. Duan Yanqing's color changed. But Deng Baichuan has been strangled from the side road. At the same time, with different time slots and turbulent situations, we have already selected our opponents to deal with. Yi Enyang and Yu Lao San are unable to support Duan Yanqing in the short term. Unexpectedly, Duan Yanqing has missed the best escape opportunity. Chapter 009. Poor you are all criminals. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Gong Yeqian claimed to be the second most skilled person in the Southern Song dynasty, and even had the courage to compete with Xiao Feng in terms of wine and palm power. As a result, Lien Xiaofeng admired him greatly and called him a rare top-notch expert in the martial arts world. Now, with the added opportunity of Murong Fu, not only does he possess profound cultivation skills, but he also cultivates the great diamond palm together with the wind and evil. Turn strengths into absolute advantages. Damn it. Duan Yanqing, who had been calculated, had a stiff face and never closed his eyelids, appearing particularly ferocious. I saw him waving his golden stick randomly. The golden stick interprets the swordsmanship of the Duan family. The sharp edge of the stick occasionally shoots out a young finger. Two unique skills are at the mercy of one's arm, effortlessly mastered. Between advancing and retreating, Deng Baichuan and Gong Yeqian, the two martial arts masters, were forced to make no progress. Deng Baichuan was unable to dodge, and a hole was punched in the warrior's green clothes. At the same time, the iron-blue Confucian robe of Gong Yeqian was also cut off by a sword-like sharpness. However, just as Duan Yanqing was preparing to pursue the victory, an incredibly sharp sword rainbow, which was 3 times more ferocious than the sharpest sword energy he had ever seen, rushed towards him. Duan Yanqing instinctively used a young finger to attack. Choke. Not only does one young finger shatter in response to the rainbow. The golden rod was also shattered into several pieces. Participating finger. Great Master. Duan Yanqing's face changed dramatically. Unfortunately, he didn't have time to think. Murong Fu, whose clothes were a bit messy, came with anger. His people are still more than 10 zhang away. The second finger has already been clicked. Without hesitation, Duan Yanqing threw the golden stick in his hand. At the same time, he slapped Yu Laosan's back with a palm in the air, which had already broken his hand bone. When the golden stick should be pointed and broken. Yu Laosan, the South China Sea crocodile god, felt as if his back had been hit by a heavy hammer. In shock, his body had already risen from the ground and flew towards Murong Fu, rushing towards him. Before he could react, Murong Fu's paw was already on his forehead. Subsequently, his internal strength surged towards Murong Fu like a flood of collapsed dams. My internal strength. Yu Laosan still wants to struggle. But it is already in vain. He could only see Duan Yanqing, who had retreated into the darkness of the distance, in a daze, and also see Yi Ernyang's bloody body nailed to the ground by Gong Yeqian. Running so fast. Murong Fu threw Yu Laosan, who had collapsed to the point of almost fainting, aside and looked towards the direction where Duan Yanqing had disappeared. He always underestimated Duan Yanqing's malice. Just seeing that the situation was not good, she decisively abandoned Yi Ernyang. Even fiercely attacking Yu Laosan, just to delay his pitiful breathing time. But it's pretty good. At least gained over 300 points of proficiency in vain. Murong Fu was a bit resentful when he was interrupted by good news. But now the anger in my heart has calmed down quite a bit. Not to mention the more refined Yi Ernyang in front of her. Young master. The baby brought by Yi Ernyang has already passed away. Deng Baichuan did not hand the dead baby to Murong Fu. I simply don't want Murong Fu, who has been blessed with amazing luck recently, to be tainted with any misfortune. Find a place with good feng shui and bury it. Murong Fu couldn't bear it from the bottom of his heart. The anger that had just calmed down burned wildly with a trend of several times. He looked coldly at Yi Ernyang. Former Murong Fu still felt that Yi Ernyang was a pitiful person. But at this moment, he had no mercy at all. I saw Murong Fu approaching Yi Ernyang and his dragon claw held onto her spiritual cover, asking, "Do you want to know where your child, who was taken away by the man in black 20 years ago, was?" Ah! Yi Ernyang instantly forgot the surging and scattered internal power. Because Murong Fu not only knew her biggest secret. Even the character images of time and action are described extremely accurately. Murong Fu put on more effort and asked, "Also, your unfaithful bald donkey lover, with such a prominent status now, must also be eager to know the whereabouts of his only son. Even the boss Duan Yanqing doesn't know this secret. Even if Yi Ernyang falls, she still guards her life to the death. How did Murong Fu know? But at this moment, Yi Ernyang no longer had the heart to pay so much attention. Don't leave. Without any doubts, she used her final strength to capture Murong Fu. I know where your son was sent. But I won't tell you. Let you rest in peace, sorry for those babies who died from being played with by you, and even more sorry for the families that were destroyed by you. Finally, Murong Fu had already consumed all of Yi Ernyang's internal strength. Please. The exhausted Yi Ernyang tightly grasped Murong Fu's bare leg. She seemed to be gambling with the last strength of her life, pleading desperately, "Where is my poor child? Please tell me. I promise you everything you want me to do. Even if you want me to be a dog." Yi Ernyang pleaded with Murong Fu while also making efforts to kowtow. But when she kowtowed, she either bumped into Murong Fu's feet or hit his bare feet. Poor people must have something to hate. People like Yi Ernyang would not hesitate to die. Young master, he has hardly gone out in the past 2 years. How do you know so many secrets of the martial arts world? Are you still thinking about this? The question now is how to deal with Yi Ernyang and Yu Laosan. None of the four would want to spare Yi Ernyang and Yu Laosan. The sins committed by Yi Ernyang and Yu Laosan have reached a point of mutual indignation between people and gods. Even if they die happily, it is still a kind of accomplishment. Bang! Murong Fu kicked Yi Ernyang away. Be my dog. I even find you unlucky. Murong Fu coldly ordered, as usual, send everyone to the snake cave. No. Please tell me. I'm not closing my eyes. In the snake cave, Yi Ernyang's unwilling roar echoed continuously. Chapter 010. You. Shameless. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The wind is drifting and the rain is drizzling. Rain hits banana trees. Although exhausted, Murong Fu was extremely satisfied, even with a triumphant expression. Congratulations to the host and Fu Junchuo for completing a wonderful inheritance. Qiyun +6, Shou Yuan +6, Realm. Early stage of the Great Master, 1018/4000, remaining gas transport value. 120, Murong Fu. You. Exhausted, Fu Junchuo wanted to struggle and curse. But last night I overdrawn too much and couldn't support my delicate body for a while. What am I? Your previous suction almost caught up with my biming. Although Fu Junchuo is already his own woman, Murong Fu will not blindly spoil her. Those who should be tough will be tough, and those who should be teased will be fully grasped. Fu Junchuo was shocked on the spot. Then his face turned completely red. Shame is hard to bear. All right. You and I are both old husbands and wives now. Murong Fu picked up Fu Junchuo's delicate face, which had been moistened to a glossy finish, and couldn't help but admire it, saying, "How could Yuan Hua and that beast have killed such a beautiful face? This time it's really not a prank. Pure words from the heart." Perhaps due to this bizarre system, Murong Fu always has a sense of pity for edible beauties. Not to mention Fu Junchuo's possession of Yang Gong's treasure trove, swordsmanship, and the 9 mysteries great technique. The value she hides far exceeds the sum of the 4 great villains. Humph. Yuan Huaji is the most ferocious lackey of the foolish ruler, they are all birds of a feather. Fu Junchuo's words were purely an instinctive reaction. I was completely unaware that I had fallen into the trajectory of Murong Fu's rhetoric. Yes, yes. At most, Yuan Huaji has arrived. I'll cover for you. Murong Fu waved his hand. Yuan Huaji is not easy to deal with. Fu Junchuo couldn't help but worry. As the first pride of the Yuan sect, He has long cultivated the Ice Xian power to the extreme, and compared to the legendary Yuan damage, it is only inferior in his martial arts. In the original work, Fu Junchuo relied on his own strength to expel the Ice Xian gene and heal the eroded meridians and orifices without external force. It took more than half a year to come back to the event. During this period, the pressure was spread out solely through the sensation caused by the longevity technique. If it weren't for encountering Murong Fu, her tragic fate will continue to deteriorate. Just Yuan Huaji. Murong Fu smiled and asked, "Do you think the great master is too simplistic?" Fu Junchuo paused. She suddenly remembered the young and elegant young master in front of her, just like her own master, who was a rare martial arts master in the world. Is her master Fu Cailin afraid of the Yuan clique? Fu Junchuo, who had the answer in his heart, choked for a moment. But when she saw Murong Fu's confident and proud face, she felt a wave of worry in her heart and couldn't help but remind her, Yuan's sect may not be on your list of fears, so what if it's a demon gate? Fu Junchuo carries the secret of Yang Gong's treasure trove. And Yang Gong's treasure trove contains the first sacred item of the demon gate. The relics of the evil emperor. So the demon sect has greater ambition towards Yang Gong's treasure trove and stronger scrutiny towards Fu Junchuo. Are you referring to Yang Gong's treasury? Murong Fu asked calmly. He doesn't like trouble, but it doesn't mean he's afraid of trouble. Not to mention that he needs a large number of master origins to break through his realm. Whether it's the four great villains or the Yuan sect, the demon sect doesn't matter. In Murong Fu's eyes, they were just supplies delivered to his doorstep. You? Fu Junchuo asked in surprise, do you already know? I know exactly how many moles you have and where they are located. Murong Fu couldn't control himself and started teasing this exotic beauty. He doesn't know why or how. I just find it strange and interesting. You. Shameless. You take advantage of someone's danger. Take advantage of their kindness to repay them. The more Fu Junchuo thought about it, the more unbalanced it became. All right. I'll get to the point, I won't argue with you anymore. Murong Fu reminded, your plan to divert the calamity from the east has been successful. Yuan Huaji's troops entered the territory of Gusu City yesterday and are now heading towards Yanziwu. The Murong family of Yanziwu is the martial arts banner of Gusu City. Yuan Huaji had no other choice but to target Yanziwu. He can't possibly bring over 1,000 elite experts to appreciate the beautiful scenery of Jiangnan, can he? Moreover, there is also the factor of Fu Junchuo in the middle. So even the servants who wash horses in Yanziwu can guess Yuan Huaji's goal. It's all Junchuo's fault. At this moment, Fu Junchuo deeply regretted it. If she could start over, she would be willing to reunite with Murong Fu, but she would never bring Yuan Hua to this disaster. No. You're right, on the contrary, you did very well. Murong Fu straightened Fu Junchuo's slightly messy hair and said seriously, although my cultivation can be done step by step, I don't mind having some delicious food and fun delivered to my door to decorate in my daily life. Fu Junchuo couldn't understand the meaning of Murong Fu's sentence. You don't need to understand. You haven't recovered from your internal injury, let's quietly watch a play by the lake later. Murong Fu confidently looked towards the distant Fian Lake and said with a smile, that will be the place where the Yuan sect will turn from prosperity to decline. Fu Junchuo fell silent for a moment. Although she didn't see any preparation from Yanziwu. But the confidence that permeates Murong Fu's body cannot be deceived. This confidence. His master Fu Cailin also had it. However, Fu Cailin has a belief that he understands everything and is inherently invincible. Murong Fu, on the other hand, is an absolute control that seems to be towering and immortal. They are all equally charming. However, what Fu Cailin gave Fu Junchuo was admiration. And what Murong Fu brought was admiration.